Hello guys, Shweta here. So in last session we have covered how to get title and URL of web page, different navigations and Selenium WebDriver architecture. So in this session we'll start with the locators. This is the important topic in Selenium. Okay. So guys, uh, if you want to perform action on any web page by using Selenium, then we need to understand what is the code used, means like HTML code uh, used. Okay, so this is called as HTML, by using which we can perform action on different components. Like components means this email field, password, login. These are called as different components or element of a web page. Okay, so we need to know basic understanding of HTML coding. So HTML coding is not that much difficult. Just it includes some tags and attributes. So this is div is called as a tag and class is called as attribute. So this is just a simple coding. Okay. So let's start with this session. So let's see why HTML code is required. Okay. So Selenium need to perform different action on components. To identify each component by using Selenium, HTML code of that component is necessary. So that's why HTML coding is required. And how to identify HTML code? Okay, how to identify HTML code of component. So just I showed you, just right click on inspect element, click on this arrow icon and just mouse over or click on the particular component for which you want HTML code. So the highlighted one is HTML code for email field, but for some website this right click is disabled. In this case what we have to do, we just have to install some add-ons. So there are already some add-ons given by the Firefox. By installing this we can inspect the element. So just click on the menu option to install the add-on, click on add-ons and just search for the add-on which you require. Suppose for inspecting element we require Firebug. Just search and install that. It will show you in this section, as I am already installed that, so it is showing me in my add-on session. So I install this both Firebug and Firepath. I'll let you know why Firepath is required after some time. So as of now we require Firebug. Okay, so to inspect element we require the Firebug. Once you install, then you can see this symbol over here. Okay, so let's start with the actual session. Locator. Okay, so locators means identifying component present in a web page is known as locator. Means identify different components like identify email field, password, login button by using the HTML. Here we are identifying this using the HTML code. So identifying these components using Selenium of a web page is called as locators. Okay, so what Selenium will do? Selenium will identify the component present in a web page using the find element method, which is find element method. So this is method used to find element present in a web page. Okay, by using the HTML code we just locate, but to find that we have one method called as a find element method. Okay, so let's see what is the syntax for find element method. Let me create one class for that. Locator part 1. Okay, so let me create Firefox browser object to launch the Firefox browser. Okay, just import this WebDriver and enter the URL driver.get. By using the get method, we can open the particular application. Okay, here we can give the URL. Okay, so the syntax of find element method is driver dot find element. Okay, so you can see here by argument means the argument is the input to the find element method is by argument. What is by? What is by argument? By argument. Okay, what is by argument? By is actually a class which contains some static methods, and these methods are used to identify elements in a web page. Okay, so these methods, these static methods from by class is called as locators. So there are some locators types. Okay, what are these? First one is tag name, second one is id, third one is class name, fourth one is name, fifth one is link text, sixth one is partial link text, and seventh one is CSS selector, and eighth one is XPath. Okay, so these are some locators types. These are the 8 basic locator types. So we can identify element by using these locator types. These are nothing but the static methods of by class. Okay, so tag name, we can use the tag name, identify the element by using tag name, but identifying element, this tag name method will identify the element using the HTML tag present in HTML code. Okay, and this id, class name and name, these three uses the identify the element by using the attribute of HTML code, and this is the link text and partial link text. This will identify the element using the text, HTML text, and this is CSS selector, and next one is XPath. This will find the element using the expression. Okay, so these are the locator types, and this is called as by using which attribute or tag, text, expression we can of the HTML code we can identify the element. Okay, so all these locator types, this will take string as an input, and the return type is by. Okay, and for this find element, the return type is web element. Okay, so let's start with some basic coding, basic test script, how to perform, how to locate elements and perform action. Okay, I'll just show you. So guys, this is the simple web page, and we have to perform action on this web page by using the locator. Okay, so I'll just copy this URL to open the application. Okay, so here once we give this and we can close this. So let's see whether we are we are opening that particular web page or not. Okay, let me close this. Yeah, just execute. And then close. Yeah, it's opening. So let's write a test script to identify this username and password field and perform the action, means enter the username. First we'll see how do we enter the username by using the locator. Okay, so for that what we just need to just inspect. Okay, click on this username. So this is the HTML code for the username field. Okay, you can see when I mouse over on this highlighted code, then username text will get highlighted. So this is the HTML code. So first we'll see first locator tag, means how do we locate using the tag name. Okay, so what here the tag name is, here the tag name is input, means the text next to the less than angular brace is called as tag name, and the attributes are means variable with some values, these are called as attributes of HTML code. Okay, so just write the HTML script to identify this element and enter the input to the username text field. So what is tag name over here? Input is the tag name. So let's try by dot. As I said, these are nothing but the methods of by class, static methods. So we can just call this by using the by class name, by dot tag name, and here it is asking us the tag name input, and input to the input to this locator type uh, it's in string format, string argument. Okay, so we'll give the input. So what is tag name for this username field? It is input. So we'll give here the string input. Either you can give it directly or store it in one variable and pass that variable to here. Okay, so I'll store it in one reference variable. So just let me. So the return type is by, and now we have just located that. Now we have to find this username field using Selenium. So for finding any component, there is one method called as find element. And you can see return type is web element, and input is by argument. Okay, so by argument is our RV. So let's store this also in one variable, let's say username only. Okay, so return type is web element. Okay, so we have just identified that field in username input text field, but we have to enter here something, some input. Okay, so to enter the input to any text box, input in text box, we have to use the send keys method. So we'll just use that un dot send keys. What is the input we have to pass, means what is the username. Let's say I'll take admin 123 as input for the username text box. Okay, so let's see whether we are able to perform this action or not. Means identify the username input by using the tag name locator type, and then enter the input into the username field. So yeah, it's entering admin 123. Let's do same thing for the password also. Let's inspect. Click on here. So here also the tag name is input only. So this is for username field. Now we'll do it for password field. Okay, same thing, by dot tag name is same input, and here rv1 return type is also by now driver dot find element. What is the by argument for password field? It's rv1. Okay, so I'll store it in one local variable. So return type of find element is web element. Now let's send password into that password field. So send keys. What is password? Let's say password only, password which I am sending. Yes. Okay, so let's close this. Let's see whether we are able to input both the username and password. Okay, it's entering username and password in username field only, not in password field. But we have uh, located that password field also, but why it is not performing? So there is one disadvantage for the there is a disadvantage for this tag name method, that we can perform the action on only first element if the tag name for more than one field is same. Suppose if the tag name for this username field and password both are same, then tag name what it will do? It will perform action on first element only, not on the next element. If the tag name for both the fields are different, then we can perform the action. Like if the tag name here is input and here some other tag name like div or other thing, then we can perform the operation. But mostly in real time we don't use the tag name for identifying any component. So we'll go with the next locator type, that is called as a ID. So we'll just inspect and see whether so here for the input there is no ID attribute, so we can perform the action by using the tag name. But let's see whether any attribute. Yes, for password field there is a attribute called ID with value password, so we can inspect the password field we can perform action on password field by using the ID attribute. Okay, so how we can do that? Let's see. So there is method called as ID. It also takes string input. So what is the ID attribute value? This is the password. So this is the ID method, means the ID attribute, and attribute value is pwd. Either you can copy paste from here. Okay, same thing, store it in one local variable. Okay, and now find that element. Yeah, you can call the find element by using the driver. Find element iv1, store it in local variable. So return type is wave element. Now we can send password fill input by using this send keys. So what is password? Let's say password is the password. Okay, now let's check whether we are able to perform the action on both the fields or not. Yeah, it's entered both the username and password. As it is password field, so it will not show us the what is the exact value we have entered. Okay, so the disadvantage of tag name is that if more than one component use same tag name, then we cannot use the same we cannot perform the action on more than one component. By using the tag name method, it will perform action on first component only, and in real time most users don't use this locator type. So by using the id attribute also we can perform the action. Okay, guys, one thing I want to show you in this session. Suppose I used here some wrong wrong HTML code, means actually it is PWD, but I added one extra D. So let's see whether it will be able to identify the component or it will throw some exception or what. Okay, so it's launching. It's enter username but not the password. Okay, we are not closed the browser, so it has thrown some error. Okay, so no such element found. Okay, no such element found. Unable to locate element id selectable. So it is giving us the exact exception with description. Okay, means if Selenium is not able to found any element, then it will throw no such element exception with description where it is unable to find which element it is unable to find. Okay, so that we can use. Okay, so in this session we have covered uh, why HTML code is required, how to identify HTML code, different locator types, find element, what is by argument, and we have covered these two basic locator types by using the tag name, which use the tag of the for tag name we can use the tag present in the HTML code to identify the element. For ID locator, we can use the attribute present in the HTML code. So in the next session, we'll cover all the remaining locator types. Okay. So uh, I'll show you one real-time example also if you want. Let's say if we take Facebook. Facebook.com. It's not allowing me to enter. It's not opening Facebook address. Let me close and remove. So let's create one class at the login. Okay, finish. Just first let's launch the browser by creating object of Firefox driver class. Okay. Import WebDriver from Selenium OpenQA jar and open the Facebook application using get method. Facebook.com. Okay. Here we can open the application. Now we'll write a script to enter the username, password and click on login button. Okay, just right click, inspect over here. So it contains ID. Okay, so we can perform the action. We can perform the action on email field using Selenium to ID attribute by using the ID attribute. Okay, let me by dot find element argument by dot ID. What is ID? It's email. I'll just copy paste to avoid any exception or any typo. So either we can use this one line of code or we can use this two line of code to find any element. Okay, so this is the optimized code and we can directly use the same keys over here. Same keys. Let's say I give input as admin@gmail.com. Okay, and for password let me inspect the password field. So here ID is pass driver dot find element by dot ID pass, and let's say send keys. So it's not any actual FB account, so I'm just showing you how we are able to perform the login operation on Facebook or not. Okay, so this is not the existing Facebook ID. Don't use this. Okay, and click on the login button. So just inspect the login button. So here I use this one, driver dot find element by dot id with id. So guys, to enter input into the text box, there is a method called as a send keys, but to click on any button or any link, there is one method called as click. Okay, by using the click method we can perform the click operation on any link or any button. Okay, so we'll see whether we are able to perform this action operation or not. Okay, just let me execute the code. It's opening the launching browser, entering Facebook URL. It's opening Facebook application. Entered username, password and clicked on login method. So as this is not a valid, as I said, this is not a valid user. I just used it to show. So we can just give wait here so that you can see the action. Let's say give it as 2000. Okay, let's execute the code. So launching browser, entering Facebook URL. Now it should enter the email. Enter the email field, password. Now it should click on, yeah, it's clicked on login button. Okay, so we are able to perform locating element, sending input and clicking on the login button. Okay, so in the next session we'll cover the remaining locator types. Okay, so thank you. This is all for today's session. Thank you.